Hi, and welcome back to my channel. I'm going to be doing May reviews today. Great month for reading. Really hard to get up here to film this. So Mabel is sick and has thrown up multiple times today. I also got all ready, curled my hair, and it is hot as balls up here in this room. So the window's open, I'm sweating profusely, had to put my hair up, my curls all fell out. I just punched my cupboard. It's a great day. So I honestly think after this I might just go lay down and start over. But we're gonna go through May reads. So before, I didn't count how many books I read, but I know that it was a lot. I took a whole week off the first week of May, so Tulip Time week. And I read so many books that week, which was the goal. I read quite a few physical, and then I also did bark or mulch, whatever you call it. So that I had headphones in the whole time, and it's not fun to do, so it's nice to have a good book. So yeah, lots of books. So to start with, I have The Warm Hands of Ghost. Sorry, dusty screen here. And I have a new angle because my ring cam doesn't work anymore. So, let's see if you can even see this. So The Warm Hands of Ghost by Catherine Arden. So she wrote one of my favorite little fantasy fairy tale retellings. So it's The Bear and the Nightingale. And they're Russian fairy tales retold, which I love because it's a fairy tale that you haven't heard all the time. Not Disney covered. So Warm Hands of Ghost, our main character is Laura. She was a nurse in the Great War, World War I, and she left the front lines because she was shot. So she should be able to just be out of this. She's very much traumatized by her time as a nurse, and her brother is missing. So she actually re-enlists and goes back overseas and tries to find him. It's a lot of speculative, so it's not really fantasy, but it's speculative. There's ghosts, a lot of trauma. It was very good, very entertaining, 4 stars. I do think I was a little distracted. Otherwise, I think I would have enjoyed it even more. And then I listened to What Lies in the Woods by Kate Alice Marshall. So I've been told to read books by her multiple times. I actually think I feel like she wrote just a junior fiction series that I think I have read the first one. That was good. So I wanted to read these. I think she mostly writes YA. So What Lies in the Wood, our main character, Naomi, was stabbed multiple times as a child. And she said that she witnessed the attempted murder, and it was a serial killer who's been convicted. So decades later, she's an adult, and the man that she accused has died in prison, and now all sorts of secrets are coming out. So who stabbed her? Was it this guy? How guilty do you have to feel when he's already, he is a bad guy? His son is also looking for justice. I think I gave it 3 stars because I predicted really, really early on who it was. But it was creepy. It was entertaining. I just didn't like any of the characters. So it's hard for me to root for people when I hate all of them. So that's What Lies in the Woods. Then I had a few 4 or 5 stars in a row. So really starting the week off strong, or the week. So this was Tulip Time week that I read, and I got my book of the month. Well, I got my book of the month, but my previous book of the month had been Kristen Hanna the Women. Actually, this is February. I think I was intimidated to read it. It's also on my list of books for a book club month for next year because it's so far out. But then Sharon Says So is reading it this month, and we're doing an author meetup with Kristen Hanna later in June. So I picked this book up and was going to start working through it, but I read it so quickly. So just a few days. I've read almost all of Kristen Hanna's back catalog now. There's just a few that I have to read. And so this is I feel like 10 books in, she kind of like found her niche, which is historical fiction with just devastating heartbreak, really. So yeah, Four Winds, Great Alone, The Nightingale. I feel like there's others. The Winter Garden. So like that's where she like hit her stride in the horrible historical fiction. So our main character is Frankie. I think it's Frankie McGrath. Her dad has a hero wall. He hero worships all of their ancestors that have gone to war. Her brother enlists in Vietnam, and she decides, oh my gosh, I can be a hero too. She enlists as a nurse. I think she's a nurse in the army, and goes overseas, and it's awful. So it's just like, especially as a nurse, so interesting to hear what combat nursing is like, and nursing in Vietnam. And then that's really just like the first maybe half of the book, and the rest deals with her coming home to America, where there are a lot of protests. She's like spit on because she was in Vietnam. Most people don't even believe that there were women in Vietnam, so no one believes her. And then we deal with all of the trauma of the stuff she's seen and her friends dying and making bad decisions because of it. And her dad not believing she's a hero, and everything that happened with her brother. Like, just so much trauma, and like so much happening in America when they came back from Vietnam. So this book, I feel like, has slightly more hope at the end than the rest of her devastating novels. Like Four Winds, does anything good happen in that book? Anything, the whole time? I just don't know. I still gave it 5 stars though. So yeah, Kristen Hanna is like an automatic read for me, but The Women is so good. So definite 5 stars. And I don't know what it is, because like her writing is actually not like, it's not fancy, it's not like poetic, it's not anything especially, I don't know. It's just like, she just tells a story, just really plain and simple. It's not like excessively flowery or like highbrow, and it's just told so well in a way that you just cannot help but vouch for these characters, even when they're making really bad decisions and doing dumb things. And they're just so good. So, The Women, 5 stars. And then, immediately upon opening my box for Book of the Month of May, Christina Lauren, The Paradise Problem. Again, another automatic read for me. This writing duo, chef's kiss. The Unhoneymooners, I think, is still my favorite of theirs. I've been working through the back catalog. It's still good, but I feel like The Unhoneymooners is kind of where they hit their stride. The Paradise Problem, so good. Like, kind of the same vibes. So our main characters are, what is her name? Anna. So Anna is super poor, and West is super rich, but trying to live kind of off of his family. He wants to live in a certain place in college. She just needs to be able to afford to live. So they get married. They're not in a relationship. They're just like marriage of convenience for the time that they're in college. And then Anna believes that their marriage has been annulled, and they go their separate ways. I don't know how much I want to give away about the plot. So we have like it's like a fake married scenario, but they're real married, but they're trying to prove that they're in love. There's an inheritance, like kind of scheme, like stakes, a lot of family drama. The banter's great. Spicy scenes are good. The Paradise Problem. 5 stars, because I got it in the mail at 2 o'clock, and I paused to host book club and then finished it that night. I stayed up until like 11 or something absolutely ridiculous. Like, I don't know if it was worth it, but I needed to finish it. Okay. While I was doing more yard work, I listened to The Teacher by Frida McFadden. People are up my butt trying to get me to read The Housemaid, and I will. I own a physical copy of it. I'm planning to read it in June, the month that I'm currently in. So The Teacher was just available on Hoopla, so I decided to listen to it while I was spreading bark. I didn't hate it. I hated all the characters. And I really hate teachers sleeping with students. I'm sorry. There has not been a time in my life that I've wanted to sleep with a teacher, and not a teacher that I've encountered that I think ever was like trying to get on students. So that gives me an ick factor. I mean, it can be very entertaining in the storyline, but like, especially like the Ezra and Arya, like I could never get over that in Pretty Little Liars. That's just, especially when you find out that he actually knew who she was. Gross. So the teacher, we have 2 teachers who are married. Shenanigans are happening. There is also a student involved who's been accused of sleeping with a different teacher. We don't know what's true with that. People are making bad decisions. This is a bad marriage between the teachers. There is murder. There is attempted murder. There are cover-ups. There are twists. Yeah. The shoe storyline is annoying. Like, I don't get it. I don't care about your shoes. I gave it a 3. It was entertaining. I'm interested to see what she does when it's not a teacher trope. And I hated those teachers. Okay? I hated them. All right. Penelope Douglas, do not read this if you don't like morally gray books or smut, absolute smut, okay? I gave this 4 stars. I couldn't give it 5 because it was just too much, you know? You don't know. I'll tell you. Our main character, Tiernan, because that's a real name. I mean, it probably is. So Tiernan, her parents really never loved her. They commit suicide together because I think her mom has cancer. So they kill themselves because, what will they live for except for each other? So she goes to live with a step uncle and his 2 kids. And they live in like the mountains where in the winter they're like cut off from civilization. And she's just a girl stuck with 3 boys. And so that gets dicey morally. The spicy scenes are good. You just have to get over the fact that it's like an uncle and cousins. I mean, not like, I get that they're step and they're not actually related, but yeah. And she's, I think, 19. So like, okay, she's legal. 18. She's 18. The book read quickly. You want to know what happens. Spicy scenes are spicy. But a little bit of an ick. A little bit of an ick there. So, don't say you weren't warned, okay? Don't say you weren't warned. All right, Nettle and Bone. And maybe that's intriguing to you. That's fine. That's fine. This is my first T. Kingfisher. I feel like I've been recommended him. I don't know if it's a man or a woman. Nettle and Bone, our main character, her sisters are being married off to this really evil king. So the one like dies suspiciously. The next one is just like breeding over and over and over to produce heirs. And so she wants someone to help her kill him. So she goes on a quest. I don't love quest books, but this was kind of delightful. So I think this is YA because it was very like tame. I gave it 4 stars because it was just kind of delightful. So yeah, Mara is the main character. Mira. And so she kind of gets like this like ragtag group. She's got a godmother, her bone dog that she creates, so dog out of bones, like a retired knight and a grave witch, and they're trying to save their kingdom from this evil king. So yeah, it was entertaining. It was a fun one while I was like doing yard work and stuff, because again, so much yard work in May. I then continued my Briar U by L. Kennedy. So these are just like hockey romance. They're just kind of delightful. I normally read them in a day, like maybe one sitting. I gave this one 4 stars. So our captain of the hockey season, which every book is a different like main character, but you kind of have like glimpses of them in books before. So our main character is Hunter, and he made some really bad decisions in the last book, for sure. So this book, he has a vow of celibacy, that he's trying to like focus on hockey because he's the captain, and he meets Demi, and she has a boyfriend, but then she breaks up with her boyfriend and she's looking for a rebound. And what is Hunter to do? So their banter and the smut is good. I liked it. 4 stars. It's not as good as The Deal, which is the first in, it's like this series before it that they're, this is like a spin-off of, but yeah, it's good. Then I read His Majesty's Dragon by Naomi Novik. So she writes fairy tale books. So she's written Uprooted, Spinning Silver, and then she wrote the Schoolomance series, and I've liked all of those. So this is more YA. So our main character is a sea captain in the 1700s. Is that when? I think 1700s is when Napoleon was about. So he is just minding his own business, like fighting wars in his ship. And one of the battles they fight, they find an egg. It's a dragon egg. And the dragon hatches and like imprints on him. So he is like the dragon rider. Well, in this version of history, dragons are used in warfare. So this was supposed to be, I think, a gift from the Chinese to Napoleon. So it was like this super special kind of dragon. So now the British have it, and he has to like train this dragon. He's just they're delightful characters. The dragon's delightful and super smart, and the captain is just sweet and just like an upstanding man. He's like very much not like bred for this, like the like airmen or like the dragon riders are. So it's just like a different breed, and it's just interesting to see him like clash with people and kind of teach them new things. So I gave this one 3 stars. It's just a little slow. I would probably read the next one though, and it was good. It was well written. I would read the next one. Just not necessarily one that I would like recommend to other people, because I don't know what you think about dragons, you know? I don't know. Then I read a Charles Martin book, and I have really liked Charles Martin in the past. He wrote The Mountain Between Us, which I have not read that book. I've watched the movie. Or have I read the book? Maybe I've read the book. Yeah, so and like The Water Keeper, The Record Keeper, The Secret Keeper is a series. So Send Down the Rain, I think, is a standalone book, so I listened to it. Here's our cover. So again, Vietnam theme, which these books were actually written over just a few days. So it felt like I went from one Vietnam book to the other. And our main character is, I didn't even write his name down. I don't remember his name. But this story just felt so far-fetched. Like, we had too many stories that we were putting together. So we start with a huge semi-crash, and we have, like, fake marriage and stolen identity. We have, migrants. We have, drug dealers. We have Vietnam history and missing parents and radio hosts, and we're starting a carnival. We're also opening a restaurant. What else? Like, it was just so much. And like, I was interested in like the main character and kind of his story, but it was just too much. Charles Martin loves a secret hero who has oodles of money. And it's not ever really explained where the oodles of money come from, but they're just like able to like benevolently give money and just hero people, you know, like, your restaurant needs help, I'm gonna pay for your whole restaurant, and I'm gonna get these migrant workers a job. And like, it's a lot. It's a lot. So I gave that one 3 stars because it just isn't believable. And did a lot of like, what? A little hard to believe. Then I finished fantasy, which I feel like Charles Martin's books sometimes are fantasy. It's too much to tie together. But at least with fantasy, you know it's fantasy. I finished the second of the, what are we calling this? The Stormlight Archive. So this is a cute 1,045 pages. Oh, 1,087. Can't sell myself short. So she's chunky. I read this while reading all those other books. Just kind of did like 100 pages at a time. I'm liking where the series is going. I'm definitely going to keep reading it. And it's just a lot. It just takes up a lot of time to read a 1,000-page book. So, yeah, 4 stars. Loving some of the main characters. I feel like there might be a love triangle. I actually like both of the relationships, so it'll be interesting to see where that goes. I'm loving the myth, the lore. I love the fact that there's still so much to uncover. It also feels like we're moving forward in the plot, which is great. Like, things are happening. We're getting answers. New things are happening. Our threat level is going up. So, yeah, if you like really epic fantasy and you're willing to... I want to say that the books on tape are like 60 hours. Like, it's a lot. I would rather physically read it. Oh, man. I gotta go take a nap after this. The next book that I read, this is a February book of the month. I did not select it, but my friend Jamie did. So I borrowed it from her, and our main character has a one-night stand, gets pregnant, and yeah, I don't want to like give too much away, but her friend has her own history with pregnancies, so that relationship is interesting, and like how do you support someone while also dealing with your own tragedy and trauma. Her best friend's brother is newly single, and their little romance is very cute, very sweet, very unexpected for the main character, which is like, why is this unexpected? So I took a star off for this. I was very entertained by it. I took a star off for it because the main character is dumb. Okay, not dumb. She's not dumb. She's indecisive, and I don't like it. I am a decisive person. And so a lot of this was like, make a freaking decision already. Like, decide what you want to do with the dad. Decide what you want to do with this boy. Decide what you want to do for work. Just make a decision. I guess I'm just not as afraid of regret as other people are. So it is hard for me to watch other people like be so wishy-washy and like, you're going to have a baby. You need to figure your shit out. Okay? That's just how I feel. Then I listened to The In-Between by Hadley Vlahos. So this is a memoir of a hospice nurse, which I found super interesting. And each chapter is a different patient. Obviously, she had like the go-ahead to write about them. And they're just like really beautiful stories about her being a hospice nurse and like meeting people at the end. And yeah, so super interesting. The one thing that I would say is that she just sounds so bitter and judgmental of other nurses. So anytime she like goes to the ER or talks about like other jobs she had like in med-surg or in like other facilities, like I get it, like talking about the like broken hospital system, but so much of the like, I'll never be like her. Maybe she's having a bad day. Maybe we need a little grace for each other, okay? Because there are days that I am such a good nurse, and there are days that I am short and rude and am not putting myself in my patient's shoes. And I just think that for this to, like, this was a beautiful memoir, and you just came off as hating other nurses. And I don't like that, because guess what? There is a place for med-surg nurses and ICU nurses, and just because we're trying to keep people alive is not bad. You want people to stay alive until they're ready to make that step to hospice. And like, we also care about comfort. We do. We just are, it feels like our stakes are a little higher, you know? Like, we'll get sued if they die. And you, like, get to just help them die peacefully. And I'm not saying that's not heavy lifting. I'm not. But as someone who's taking care of hospice patients, those patients do not require as much diligence, awareness, med passes. Okay? Tangent over. So that's why I took a star away. Otherwise, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful story. And I liked the memoir. I like hearing nurses' perspectives. But don't be mean to other nurses. Okay. I listened to another book, like literally finished that, started the next one, because I was on a roll with reading. I was recommended to read Drowning by TJ Newman. I think Jamie, again, told me that this was good. And oh my gosh, was it good? Like, your first scene is intense. And it was like, okay, this feels like the book. Like, because I didn't really know what the premise of this book is, okay? I went into it totally blind, 5 stars. I think I listened to it in a day because I was like, what? I want to listen to it again. Like, never wanted to put music on, just wanted to listen to Drowning. It was so well done. Very suspenseful. I really liked it. And, like, believable. Like, I feel like they took something that was like, no, this could be stupid. I don't know how they're going to make that into a whole book. It was good. I liked it. There were a lot of characters, but it was like you were spoon-fed what you needed to know, so you didn't have to, like, keep track of people. So, I would recommend it. I did cry in places because it was so intense. It, like, intensely emotional. It was good. It was so good. So, I highly recommend that. And I will be reading his other books. I forget what they're called. Yeah. He might only have one other one, but it's Drowning, and it's about a plane crash. So let your mind try to figure that out. It's wild, wild. Then I read The Aviator's Wife for book club. So this book is by Melanie Benjamin. She also wrote The Children's Blizzard, which I've talked about on here. Wild, wild book. We talk about it every month at book club. One of the girls hasn't read it because she didn't like it when we were reading it. She just like DNF'd it. And we talk about it every month because, look, it's not like the best book in the world, but it is wild. Wild. So this book, I would not recommend this to everyone, but it is a good book club discussion book. It is about Charles Lindbergh and his wife. Charles Lindbergh was the first person to fly an airplane across the Atlantic. Big deal, right? Like 1920s. And then he marries Anne Morris. And they have a baby, and their baby is kidnapped. I thought their baby was returned to them. Like, I've always heard about the Lindbergh baby being kidnapped. I thought they found it. They found the dead body. So their baby was stolen and murdered. So that's horrifying. But also, Charles Lindbergh, he was a Nazi. At least a Nazi sympathizer. So super, like, I did not like him at all. Very interesting book. So 1920s to like 1970s. Lots of information. Sorry, Mabel's over here deep breathing. I think she just puked somewhere, which is delightful. Did you puke somewhere? Great. Great. Love it. So I gave this book 3 stars. It was a really good discussion book, but I didn't like the characters. I thought Anne was a pushover, and I thought Charles was probably neurodivergent before that was like a thing for people, right? I feel like he was emotionally abusive to his wife and a Nazi sympathizer, and yeah, there's more, but you may as well keep some of it secret if you want to read it. So 3 stars. Another Jamie Lone. This book brought to you, or this month brought to you by Jamie Happ. So Heir of Fire is the third in the Throne of Glass series. Selena Sardathian she found out a secret and she goes to a foreign land and meets people. I feel like I can't tell you anything about it because there's a bunch of, like, I didn't know anything about this series, so it's been fun to just read them and not know what's coming. So I gave this one 4 stars. It read really fast. It was quick. I like that I'm learning more about this, like, lore, and, like, there's, like, higher stakes. There's, like, weird magical creatures that we're not sure what's going on. Lots of evil. I'm excited. So I'm currently reading Queen of Shadows, which is the next one, and then I'm excited to do the tandem read because I think some stuff's going to happen. But yeah, these books, they read really fast. So they're like 500 pages, but they read quickly. And I just feel like I like our main character better. I'm not a fan of, like, the ACOTAR books because I just don't like Farah. I just think she's annoying. So I like Selena better. And we'll see where this goes. We'll see if we get a 5-star in that series. I don't think so, but maybe. Then I read the sequel to The Stone Maiden. So this is by Lloyd Devereux Richards. This is Maidens of the Cave. So the first book he wrote 20 years ago, and then his daughter posted it on TikTok and asked people to read it, and it became this big TikTok sensation. So I read it last summer, and I really enjoyed The Stone Maidens. The Stone Maidens? Yeah. So serial killer, and our cop is likable. She has her own trauma that you kind of learn about throughout the books. And The Maidens of the Cave has college women that are being found in caves and the search for their killer. So it was interesting. I think I gave it 4 stars. Yeah. I don't feel like it was quite as gripping as the first one, but it was good. It was a good, like, quick read. It was a little slower than I would have liked. I think if it was a little faster, I would have given it 5 stars. But, like, I liked the premise and the writing, and yeah. Oh no. Ugh. She definitely puked somewhere. We gotta get through this pile so I can go find the vomit in my house somewhere. Okay, Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. I have been recommended to read this. I did not read Part of Your World, which is the first in the series. And then I actually have the next one already, which is, I think it's this, something about Just for the Summer, I think. But they're also, like, standalone. So I think the characters overlap, but you can read them out of order. So Yours Truly is about 2 ER physicians who are, like, enemies to lovers. There is fake dating. There's organ donation. There is like one bed trope. There's lots of good stuff in here. It was very, very good. I gave it 5 stars. It was one that I did not want to put down. I read it in like 2 days. Just really great. The banter was good. There actually wasn't that much, like, smut. I wanted there to be more just because the sexual tension was so good. The medicine was good and believable, and yeah, I just really liked it. The characters, the families, the dynamics, they were good. Then I read Every Woman a Theologian by Felicia Masonheimer. So I did a Verity conference last year. I helped host it at my church, and it's put on by Felicia Masonheimer, and she was a very good speaker. I agreed with a lot of her points, and this book has been recommended to me. So this was, I don't know what I expected, but this is just like a primer on, like, Christian beliefs and kind of, like, where different denominations differ and what we believe. So the chapters are broken up by, let's see. So, I'm missing the one page. So it's like bibliology, the doctrine of Scripture, theology, the doctrine of God, the doctrine of the Holy Spirit, the doctrine of the church, doctrine of end times. So it's really interesting to, like, see the different perspectives and be like, okay, that's what I believe. That's what I was, like, grew up believing, and just how, like, what the foundational belief is and like what the Bible says, and then how like we can also interpret different things. And that's fine. There's a reason that we have different denominations, but like you have to like uphold that the Bible is true. And that like the Holy Spirit is the Holy Spirit in order to like be a professing and practicing Christian. So it is written for women. So the idea is that like men are kind of like raised to know what they believe and defend themselves, and like women also just need to know. Even if they haven't been like trained their whole lives, you know? That kind of a thing. Then I listened to The Gunkel. So this, I've had it on hold for forever. So honestly, slight letdown just because I waited for forever and it wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. It was entertaining. So our main character is Patrick. He is a like retired TV star. I think he won an Emmy. And his best friend dies, who also was married to his brother, so his sister-in-law. She dies of cancer, and he has custody of his niece and nephew while his brother is in rehab. And the banter between the kids and the uncle is really fun. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say. It's fun. It drags on for quite a bit. The relationship that he gets in, I'm like, I think this is bad for you, but he went with it. So, it's a really cute cover, The Gunkel. I think The Gunkel Abroad is the next one. I think it just came out. I gave it 3 stars. I don't know that I would like recommend it to everyone because it is like it's a little long for like how much content there is. And then I read, okay, this is amazing. So this is by Catherine Chig. So Hope for the Forgotten. This is the memoir of the woman who founded CAMO, which is Central American Medical Outreach. So that is the organization that I've gone to Honduras with 2 years in a row. So we went in 2022 and 2023 and did cataract surgeries at the Robles Clinic. So the Ophthalmológica de Robles, I think. No, Centro de Ophthalmológico. This book is so well written. It reads really quickly. I lost my little tabbies. Otherwise, there'd be tabs the whole way through. I marked up so much of it. So Kathy is a nurse. So I believe she started in the ICU in the 70s and then joined the Peace Corps and was in the Peace Corps from 1979 to 1981 in Honduras. And what she saw there was devastating, and it changed her even when she went back to the States and was an ICU nurse and was trained at a high-level hospital in Ohio. She just can't get Honduras out of her mind, and so she comes back and starts this medical outreach program. And it is a very interesting model, and it's super interesting to see because it goes to like present day. So like from what I've known her from, it's so interesting to see how the organization has grown. It's so interesting to see because this is a faith-based organization. It's super interesting as she's planning, like estate planning and trying to find someone to take over and how she wants the mission to go beyond her. She does not want this organization to end with her. The point is for it to be self-sustaining and for Hondurans to really own this mission and not for America to be the white saviors here and like swoop in and help and then leave, which is what a lot of medical outreach does. So yeah, just super interesting. Honestly, really proud to be a part of, like, have been a part of this organization, and I have seen it firsthand and seen how amazing it is. And I've been to quite a few of the buildings that she mentions in the book. So you can buy it on Amazon. Very good. I liked it a lot. So 5 stars, 100%. Even though I don't know that I would actually, like, I don't love to, rate memoirs anymore because it's a memoir, but it was so well written, so good. Loved it. And just honestly, like, seeing God's provision throughout the chapters is so cool. I underlined so many things of like, we needed this exact amount of money and it came. Like, just very, very cool. And that's not to say that it was without struggle. And so I thought that was how I was going to end the month, but then I ended up just like having time to read some more. So I listened. Oh gosh, I got too much. This is like way at the end of the month. I finally got the Honeymoon Crashers. So this is a teeny little novella that follows up the Honeymooners by Christina Lauren. I gave it, what did I give it? Like 3.5 maybe. Like it was cute. It felt unnecessary. So it was cute. If it had been any longer, I would have been really annoyed. But it was just a few hours. Like, I think it was 4 hours to listen to it. Oh, no. Okay, one more book. Sorry. The Dare, Briar You. I think it's the last in that series by Elle Kennedy. And I really didn't like it. So I would give it at most 3 stars. So our main character is, oh, what's her name? She's an ugly duckling, which you know she's not. They talk so much about her curves. It's like, I don't know. But then they talk about how she looks like Marilyn Monroe and is like super busty and like has the best boobs. Like, it sounds like you're hot. So why? Ugh. So the girl has no self-esteem and just like keeps like running out on people all the time. So that's annoying. And our main character is obsessed with her, which is also annoying. They didn't have, I don't feel like they had much chemistry, so much misunderstanding, and so much like hurt feelings over nothing happening. Would not recommend. So I feel like Briar You has been like 3 or 4 maybe ratings. The other series that's the Off-Campus series was way better. Like, especially the first 3. I feel like the 5th one is just like everyone's married and never like that. That one's kind of annoying because it's like just for you to see everyone be happy all the time. There's no conflict. There's not really a story. But yeah, I would recommend the Off-Campus series before the Briar You series. All right, that is May. It was pretty good. So $23 books. It's a good month. I don't know if I'll have another one like that, but I have so many books picked out for June, so we'll see what happens. And then I got a book in the mail today that I was not expecting, and I feel like that might have to go ahead of the other ones. And I have another, like, Brandon Sanderson, like, the Stormlight Archive one that's, like, 1,000 pages, so we're just going to chip away at it and see what happens. So I'm going to go drink an energy drink. If it doesn't work, I'm going to take a nap. I'm going to try to finish Queen of Shadows in the next few days and move along. So, and I'm going to go clean up some vomit. Being a dog mom is fun. I have no idea what she ate. Yay! See you in June. Bye.